Hi Circle members, welcome to my scrap room. We hope that you have been enjoying the Pet Week here on the Circle blog and all the darling projects that our design team has been creating for you. Today I thought I'd make a video about how to put together a scrapbook page that I made of my dog. So let's get started. I have my photos ready to go as well as my pattern paper choices. I've also cut out all my shapes that I want to include on this page. I will have the sizes and instructions for you in a PDF file, as well as a Gypsy download. So for those of you who want to recreate this page, you have those files available to you to do that. A lot of you have left comments on the blog, curious to know more about how to mix pattern papers and how to add depth to your shapes, or just some basic design principles in scrapbooking. So what I thought I would do today is walk you through this page as I put it together and just explain my reasoning behind my design choices. When I start a design, I start with my pictures. And here I have a picture of my daughter with our dog hanging out in the laundry room, and she always cuddles up our dog in these big beach towels that we have. And this is just a different time, probably later that day. So I wanted to combine these two pictures on this principle I want to talk about is anchoring. And I want to anchor these photos onto this page. If I just leave them like that, they kind of look like they're floating around, and that, you know, they just don't look very nailed down, I guess you should say. So I kind of work from my photos backwards. I almost always add a matte to them, a solid colored matte or a tone-on-tone pattern paper matte, so that the pictures will immediately pop up from the item that they're wearing. The next design decision I made is, now that I have my photos anchored on a mat, I want to anchor my photos together on a layer. And that's what determined the shape of my next layer. I'm going to put a rectangle shape behind these photos. The paper that I chose is this dog bone paper. And the reason I chose this dog bone paper is that it follows the theme of my paper with the dog bones, but also because it has a bold scale, or a larger scale, compared to this background paper. These look great together because the scale is different, but I wanted this layer to pop off even more from that background paper, so I decided to add a cardstock mat. And you can see when you put that under there, it just immediately pops it off again. Okay, so here's our paper so far. I really like how this is happening because it gives me an opportunity to add some embellishing here, and it gives me a space here to add some stuff. But the pictures still kind of feel like they're floating inside this rectangle. They don't really feel nailed down. So I want to add another layer. And what I decided to do, and you'll notice this on a lot of my pages, is I almost always add a horizontal strip or a vertical strip to anchor my photos to. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add actually a vertical. Now this is a pattern paper layer, and you'll see that the reason it works with our other two pattern paper choices is because it's a medium scale. The scale is different on all three papers. We have a small scale that's kind of a tone-on-tone, we have a large scale pattern, and then we also have a medium. Now that I talked about how I have a space here that I want to add something, and a space below this picture. And this is where my die cuts start coming in. I wanted to add the little puppy bed and the dog here. Oops, something stuck to that. And then I wanted to add my title down here. Now, you're going to notice something about this page. It looks great, it looks fine, it's cute, it's the same colors, but because this pattern is so busy, even though these are solid colors, they're still getting lost in that bold pattern paper. What we're going to do is we're going to add another layer of paper. And because I have a lot of multicolors going on, I'm going to go back to our background philosophy, where it's kind of the solid look, and go with this green paper. So I'm going to add, I'm not going to do a square because we have a lot of squares happening already. So I decided to add a circle. So I have this circle that I'm going to put here that will anchor my title and help it to pop off. And then I'll put a circle here for this one. Now you'll look at this one and you'll see that you can still determine the difference between the pattern papers because of the scale. But again, if you add that cardstock mat around those, just look how much that probably heard of the design principle called a visual triangle. And that helps your eye to travel around the page. And what a visual triangle is where you add 3 elements on your page or an odd number of elements on your page to draw your eye around the page. So far you can see that we kind of have this repetitive circle happening. And this is where I worked off of next. I used the visual triangle rule and I created this little green circular clip to add to this top part of my page. The visual triangle with the green circles made the page feel really good, but it also made me notice something else, and that was that my title looks pretty boring. It just kind of gets lost. There's nothing exciting about it happening over there. So I decided to add something to it. And what I did was the word heart stood out to me. So I decided to cut a heart to sort of embellish this title and to and then you'll actually notice another visual triangle starting to happen. And that is the red pattern paper. We've got the red pattern paper of the heart, the red pattern paper of the dog bed, and then that led me to my next design choice, which was to add another red pattern paper element up here on this clip. Design-wise, this page feels finished. We've managed to combine pattern papers together, we've anchored everything down with layers and matting, and we've added interest to the page with our visual triangles. We could glue this all down and put this in our book and feel really good about it. But for me, I like to take it a step further. I like to add another design principle to this page, and that is of adding dimensional details. Okay, we're on that final layer of the dimensional details. So I pulled everything off and I ran the layers through my sewing machine. You can see that I put this one just a straight stitch around the rectangular layer, as well as the circle here and the circle there. And then I also zigzag stitched all the way around the page. And already that adds a lot of texture and warmth. I really love it. As I put the other details back onto the page, I used pop dots or foam squares to attach them to my page. And that's a little hard to capture on camera, but that adds a lot of depth as well. I wrapped some string around the dog bed and included this cute little metal tag that's from the same Cats and Dogs paper line. I put my journaling on this tag and attached the clip to it. So we'll just slide that back into place. There's these really great felt stickers that comes with this line, and I wanted to add a few of those. So we'll add one of those underneath the heart right there. We'll add the puppy paw print over here. And you see our visual triangle happening again? So the next one I'm going to put is right here. Okay, I'm really loving that. The last spot that feels empty to me is right here above the dog. There's kind of this little empty space. So I pulled out these dimensional stickers from the same Cats and Dogs line, and I'm going to use this one that says, "It's a dog's life." And just stick that there. So it's really easy. It's really easy to add a bit of dimension. It doesn't take a lot of time. Just kind of look through your stash and find buttons and brads or stickers that will just add that extra oomph to your page. I've had a blast sharing this page with you today. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed watching it come together. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them on the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Again, there will be a PDF instructional file and a Gypsy download that will coordinate with this page so you can recreate it if you'd like. My name is Jana Eubank for the Cricut Circle blog. I'm excited to be with you today and I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's do it again soon. Take care.